What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we're going to be checking out 6 absolutely stunning fancy goldfish tanks. So make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. As always, check out the links in the description, and if you're from the USA, make sure to check out Jimmy Goldfish, and if you're from the UK, check out Star Fisheries, as they both have an absolutely stunning selection of fancy goldfish. In today's video, we're going to be checking out 6 absolutely amazing fancy goldfish tanks, and each one is going to have a slightly different twist. Now, this isn't our normal Rate My Tank video, but this video has actually been collaborated by Fish Forever, which is actually another content creator and YouTube channel, and I'm going to put a link down below to the original video, but I'm going to be doing my own narration over the top. The original video just had some nice music to it, but I really feel like these fish tanks could be explained a little bit more, and we can have a little bit more of a deep depth guide into the different fish, scapes and tanks that we're going to see on the video today. Now, these are really stunning tanks, and there's some absolutely amazing examples of a fancy goldfish system, so hopefully you will stick with me for the rest of the video and follow it through to the end. But without further ado, let's get those videos on the screen and let's check them out. First up, we've got this absolutely stunning few racks of fancy goldfish tanks. Looks like a lot of the fish in these tanks are Ranchu. They've got an absolutely awesome bottom full of algae. I'm really liking that rimless style look without the canopy or the hood on top of the tanks that you often see with fancy goldfish. And it looks like we've got some lovely monstera and maybe some variegated pothos as well, which really helps to filter the water out of these tanks. Really nice sized tanks as well. They look like they're mixed between a 4 and 6 foot tanks, nice and shallow, which is absolutely great for fancy goldfish. We always want to be having shallower tanks, which puts less pressure on the fish and allows them to grow slightly better. And the really nice carpet algae across all of the tanks is really good to look at, and I really like the carpet algae effect. The next tank we are coming up to is this absolutely stunning fiberglass tank. We can see there is a large fountain or water feature within the middle, which is helping to regas and degas the water, adding lots of oxygen. Also, it looks like we've got quite a lot of fish in here, maybe up to around 100 Oranda. Absolutely great quality, and I really like these fiberglass tanks. Now, I do have a fiberglass tank similar to this outside in my garden, and I really like these. They generally have a really nice water volume to them. This one looks to be around the 6 to 1,000 litre mark, and although I would say it is potentially overstocked, I'm sure the owner has a really strict water quality testing and water change routine, and also has really good filtration on the system, especially to achieve the clarity of water that we can see in this video. With that amount of fish, he must or she must be doing something right to keep the quality of water this tip-top condition. But I'm absolutely loving the different colors, the different contrasts of fish in these tanks and this tank, and this is really what fancy goldfish keeping is all about. Having those fish in the pond environment where you can see them from the top and the side, having them all able to come up to you without having to reach over the tank to feed them, and just having a real personal interaction with the fish. I absolutely love this style of setup, and I definitely want to do one similar to the tank I've got here. It's kind of that pond vibe to it, and it's really nice to have the fish up close and personal with you rather than having to sort of reach up to a tank that is on a stand, for example. So I really like that setup. Next up, we've got this absolutely stunning Ranchu tank. We've sort of moved away from the Ryukin, and we've got this absolutely beautifully scaped Ranchu tank. This tank looks absolutely huge as well. Looks like we've maybe got 5 feet in length, maybe 2 or 3 foot in width. So a really good size. The quality of Ranchu as well is superb. We've got lovely Kirins, we've got lovely red and whites, Apaches, and I really like how the owner has used that wood to create that awesome scape and use the river pebbles as well. And also you can see that the owner has left this algae to just cover everything within the tank, giving it a real natural look. Looks like we've maybe even got a Bosmani rainbow fish in there as well, which is something a little bit different. I assume this these fish are kept in a tropical country, and that is why the water is quite warm, allowing for the species to be mixed together. Although I generally wouldn't normally advocate it, I really like the way this setup has been done. Sometimes on wood pieces like this, you may get the fish catching themselves on it and smashing into it when they are inbreeding. So that is one thing to consider. If you are going to be using a piece of driftwood like this, I would always consider making sure it's been sanded down, it is nice and smooth, there are minimal to no areas where those fish can bump into and hurt themselves. And it is also good to use round river stones or river pebbles or cobbles like the owner has here, so the fish can't injure themselves because they can be quite clumsy. But I absolutely love this tank. Really beautiful, minimalistic setup. The real feature is on the fish, but personally I probably would remove the the rainbow fish, the Bosmani rainbows, and if there's any other fish in there, just kind of focusing on the Ranchu, because they really are a beauty in their own right. And I absolutely love the way that this tank has been done, especially with that natural algae carpet for the fish to graze on, and also removing all of those nitrates and phosphates from the water as well. Absolutely superb, and it would be really nice to do maybe a feature video on this tank in particular. But next up, we are back onto the fiberglass tank, but it looks like we are filming this in a slightly different light, as the water quality looks slightly different and the surrounding light looks different as well. But back onto it, we can see we've got a mix of fancies. We've got some large Oranda, we maybe got some Ryukin in there as well. Now Ryukin, especially when spawning, can be a little bit boisterous, so that is something to consider. And there have been multiple times I've seen that they have pecked out and removed the eyes of some of the slower goldfish like the Ranchu. But hopefully the Oranda in this video are a little bit quicker and have their wits about them, but that is always one thing to consider. But I like the effects of using this tank in the outside environment, getting lots of natural sunlight, which is great for the pigment and skin quality of the fancy goldfish, and also provides them with natural algae to feed on as well. And now we are coming to the end of the video. We've got another 2 tanks to see. We can see that this one has a mix of fancies and angelfish. Now a lot of people will be saying no, do not mix the species, and I do have to agree. Obviously this is a tropical country, so the water quality is probably the same for keeping these fish in 2 separate systems. They're going to have that same source water quality and the same temperature. But a lot of the sort of Asian fish keepers believe, and I've spoken to quite a few Asian fish keepers who have said using angelfish and fancies can be a benefit to them, as they can peck off parasites. Now, I don't quite believe this, because the amount of food that goes into a fancy goldfish tank would mean that the angelfish would just eat that, and rather than going after a Ranchu, chasing it maybe for an anchor worm or something that it can peck off, I think they are a bit more detrimental rather than they are positive to the fish, because angelfish are also predatory fish and could peck out the eyes on your fancy goldfish. So I definitely wouldn't risk it just for the parasite preventative measure. Maybe I would always just treat the fish instead, rather than using another fish like an angelfish and potentially risking it together. However, they are generally compatible with the source water that's used and also the temperature, but I just wouldn't mix them together. Otherwise, I do really like the look of these tanks with the nice backgrounds, nice algae scapes as well, the algae carpet so to say. Really nice tanks, and that is the end of these 6 tanks. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I thought there were some absolutely stunning fish and aquariums, and a real big thanks to Fish Forever, the content creator that made this video of his 6 absolutely stunning tanks. And I just wanted to say they were absolutely superb, and I really like the quality and effort that clearly been put into those systems. Now that is the end of the video today. If you want me to do some similar videos to this one, then let me know down in the comment section, or if you've got any links to some other videos you want me to react to, review or rate, etc., then let me know down in that comment section below. And if you want to have your tank or your system featured on the channel, you can email me at fancygoldfishfanatics@gmail.com. So that is it for today's video, but as always, thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.